Hello students, welcome to La Excellence. Welcome to our weekly magazine from 28th May to 3rd June 2017. This is important from both prelims and mains, so we will be explaining you the concepts which you have to read from both prelims and mains. At the same time, we will be telling you what additional points you have to write and how questions can be expected in mains from these topics as well. From prelims, hardly one or two can come, that will be shown. But from now onwards, it is important for us to focus from mains point of view as well. So let us quickly go through the important topics that are there in this particular week. The essay of the week is "The only good is knowledge and the only evil is ignorance" from Socrates. Here, we are trying to take the statements which are important from ethics point of view as well, which will help you to answer a case study not only from the traditional subjects, that is paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and we also want you to write well on the topics whenever it comes from ethics as well, right? So please try to do particular research on the ethics statements, especially on these leaders or these philosophers as well. Next, we have to look at something called as dual onslaught on Earth, global warming and local urban heating. Guys, please remember, even this statement can be given as essay. But what exactly are we talking about? Today, there is two issues that is creating lot of trouble. One is, yes, you have climate change, which is affecting the entire world differently in different parts. But when it comes to cities, there are much more problems. That is, there is climate change also, but there is an impact of the urban local heating as well, which is caused due to compressed spaces, buildings, water bodies are not there, albedos are being removed. And we can also see the pollutants having huge impact in increasing the temperature of the urban areas as well. And whenever we talk about especially during winter in northern India, when it comes to Delhi and all, these pollutants are not contributing to heating, but it is leading to smog as well. So it is not only during summer there are problems, but even in winter there are problems. And when you come to south, in Chennai you have problems when it comes to cyclones, and this is associated with global warming. And when you look at Hyderabad and Bangalore, there are urban floods. Hyderabad mostly floods because of lack of proper sanitation facilities. And when it comes to Bangalore, you can see increase in pollution. At the same time, we can also see the damage which has been caused by these industrial effluents on the lakes as well. Recently, the NGT has also said that government has to take enough steps to ensure that these chemicals which are released in the lakes are being removed. So guys, though I started by explaining you with respect to global warming and local urban heating, it is very important for you all to focus on all the issues which are associated with urban areas today. And the solutions are also very important. Transit-oriented policy of the government, which aims to reduce the movement of vehicles. That is, there should be metros and there should be some sort of vehicles, monorails that should be available very close to the people's houses, where the people can either go to the metro station or monorail station or bus stop either through walk or through bicycle, and from there they have to move mainly through the public transport system. This is one sort of measure which the central government has proposed. And when we look at Bangalore has come up with something called as plantation on the pillars which are actually present along the metro line to ensure that the pollution is reduced. So, what are these policies? How exactly we are looking into these policies have to be studied carefully whenever we are talking about the pollution. Yes, global warming is very, very important, but when they bring it to the urban level, then you have to introduce the concepts from geography about the urban heat islands, cloudbursts, and you have to bring the disaster management as well. And please remember, if anything happens in the urban areas, then it will have more impact, mainly because there are a lot of people who are migrated into these areas and they will also be affected. Right? So, guys, it's very, very important for you to study these two concepts carefully. One is associated with climate change, the other one is associated with the urban problems. Urbanization has become a very important concept today. Recently in news, you might have come across the Zika virus being identified in Gujarat. So most of us might have already forgotten the virus, mainly because in most of the other countries it has been reduced, and India successfully had prevented these cases entering into India. But now, as it has come again, they may ask you a question either in prelims or mains with respect to Zika virus. So let's see what exactly is the Zika virus. So Zika virus disease is caused by a virus transmitted primarily by Aedes mosquito. This is very, very important. They may ask you this particular information. Is it from mosquitoes? Is it from houseflies? Is it from water? This type of information is also important. People with Zika virus disease can have symptoms, including some of the symptoms: mild fever, skin rashes, muscle and joint pain, malaise or headache. Very, very important. Try to go through it. There is scientific consensus that Zika virus is a cause of microcephaly and Guillain-Barré syndrome. Links to other neurological complications are also being investigated. Many people are saying that it has some links with the neurological complications. That is, this leads to a lot of neurological complications. And we have also come across some of the cases where the children are most affected. The pregnant ladies are more affected, usually with Zika virus. This was one of the reasons why United States did not allow some of its people to visit people during Olympics, right? It's very, very important for us to look at Zika virus, especially when it comes to India, right? So let us see what are the additional informations with respect to this. You can also see here they have clearly given there is a possible link between maternal Zika virus and infant microcephaly. This is what I was telling you, that pregnant women were also vulnerable to this. There is no treatment as of now. They say that drink as much of water so that this may be reduced. We need to look at the places where it has been spread. So you can actually see Latin America, Brazil, and the connected portions with Africa, and then Indonesia, Philippines, and Thailand. These were the regions where the impact of Zika virus was seen more. Now it has been seen in India as well. So both from prelims and mains point of view, this issue is important. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Russia is very, very important given the ongoing issues in the world. The very important thing is that Russia had actually supported Pakistan. There were two important summits that happened in India. One was with respect to BRICS, and the second one was actually with respect to BIMSTEC. When BRICS happened in India, India wanted to highlight some of the issues of Pakistan. Russia remained silent and it did not speak. When it came to Heart of Asia Summit, which was also held in India, India wanted to isolate Pakistan. Every other country supported India, apart from China and Russia. Russia's silence over Pakistan issue was a cause of concern. Many people used to argue that there is $400 billion pipeline project which is trying to connect Russia with China. And these have two important connectivities. One pipeline wants to connect from the western side of Russia, that is St. Petersburg and all. From there, they want to connect it with the western side of China. When we are talking about the western side of China, we are actually coming at Kashgar region. And from Kashgar to Gwadar port, Pakistan has developed China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now, there is a possibility that rail connectivity, pipelines and all will be built across this. Many analysts also felt that Russia might be looking to connect with China and Pakistan through this China-Pakistan economic corridor. Few people say, no, this is absolutely wrong. Russia is more concerned about Afghanistan. Russia wants to build its image with respect to Afghanistan, or it has its strategic interests in Afghanistan. And if Russia wants to have good interests in Afghanistan, then it wants the support of Pakistan at any cost, as Taliban is under the control of Pakistan. And Russia also knows that during the Russian invasion in USSR, Pakistan had played a very important role. So Russia is trying to soften its stand with Pakistan. Given this, at the same time, if we can say that yes, if Russia is going closer to Pakistan, can't we go closer to US? Yes, we have already gone closer, but now you have Trump. Trump's actions, especially when it comes to international relations, is not clear to the people. He's more focused domestically than focusing about international events. He has said no to Paris, which we'll be seeing later. He has his own intentions when it comes to NATO as well. So, to counter Russia going towards US is not the solution. Yes, we need to have good relations with all the countries, but we need to improve the relations with Russia as well. Here comes India's renewed interest in connecting with Russia. The first major thing earlier from where we used to connect with Russia is through the north-south transport corridor, which actually comes through Baltic Sea, Russia to Baltic Sea, and from Baltic Sea it used to cross English Channel, enter Mediterranean Sea through Strait of Gibraltar, then come to Red Sea, and from Red Sea through Strait of Bab el Mandab they used to come to India. Now through Azerbaijan, Russia wants to come to Iran, and in Iran we have Chabbar port. From there they wants to come to Mumbai or Arabian Sea. So this is the alternative which India is proposing for CPEC. That's the reason when India got access to Chabbar port, China started saying that no, Chabbar port is actually a counter to Chinese CPEC. India said no at that time. But many analysts now feel, yes, this is moving parallelly and it may counter the China-Pakistan economic corridor as well. Given all these things, it's important for us to look at how exactly we need to deal with India and Russia relationship, especially when it comes in a year when we have entered into 70th year of relationship with Russia. As you're all aware, India-Russia relations is important, and international relations, they may ask you anything with respect to India and Russia's relationship, especially in mains 2017, right? So please go through these issues carefully once. If you look the declaration which was signed between India and Russia, that is between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin, was actually termed as St. Petersburg Declaration. This wanted to increase political and economic ties between India and Russia. Whenever we are talking about political relationship, you may talk about a multipolar world where India's relationship with Russia is important. We need to talk about Russia's influence to help India to enter into NSG, to get a permanent seat in United Nations Security Council, whether India supports Russia's interests in West Asia, especially when it comes to Syria. What is India's position on Crimean issue in Russia? So these type of things are very, very important for us. And whenever it comes to economic development, we need to talk about Eurasian Economic Union. Russia has planned to establish a union called as Eurasian Union. As of now, it had actually asked Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Belarus. All these countries together have formed Eurasian Economic Union, and India has told that India want to have free trade agreement with this, which will boost Eurasian Union and India's ties as well. And then we need to talk about purchasing oil, and we also have to talk about increasing Indians' presence in Russia. So increasing India's investments in Russia and asking Russia to invest in India, especially when it comes to defense sector. The second important thing in economy that we need to focus with Russia is about the Kudunkulam power plant or Kudunkulam project. That is, there is lot of strikes happening against this project, mainly from the environmentalists. Russia has also said that these are done by US-backed NGOs. And after this, the FCRA norms also came into picture. So it's very, very important for you to understand NGO versus government, especially when it comes to foreign contributions, where through the FCRA, Indian government has tried to curb the powers of NGOs, especially the fundings of NGOs. The IB has also given its own report stating that yes, the NGOs strikes have actually led to reduction in India's GDP by almost 1%, and these are the plans of the Western countries. So Kudunkulam power plant is very, very important, right? So these are some of the political and economic developments, and most importantly, we have military relationship with Russia as well. Most of the best equipments, technological equipments are usually given to India by Russia itself. Even the recent GSLV launch, for which the cryogenic engine and other requirements, not through the direct cryogenic but at the early stages, some sort of help to understand was also given by Russia. So given India's relationship with Russia and its sustained relationship with Russia has always helped India, in this 70th year, it has become important for us to revive the relationship and become much closer because of Russians' renewed interest in the region as well. Then from science and tech point of view, especially when it comes to defense sector, it's important for us to analyze what are the equipments that are being purchased for improving the capabilities of our army. Especially when it comes to missile systems, it's very, very important for us to know some of the major things with respect to the missile as well. India is planning to increase Akash type of systems to army. So what exactly is this Akash missile all about? It is not a ballistic missile which moves from surface to surface, but it moves from surface to air. So the main aim of this is to hit at aircrafts of other countries. Akash is a supersonic short-range surface-to-air missile capable of neutralizing aerial threats. The asset of this missile system is its capability to neutralize multiple aerial targets coming from different directions at the same time. This point is very important, that it can hit only if it is coming in same direction at different times. So please remember, UPSC try to change the statements and ask you. The maximum range of this missile is 25 kilometers and can neutralize targets at a maximum altitude of 20 kilometers. It is meant for neutralizing medium range air targets flying at low or medium height. So remember, if something is moving beyond 20 kilometers, it would be very difficult for us to neutralize it with the help of Akash system, right? And some other facts. The Akash missile regiment has 6 launchers with 3 missiles each, and these move in different directions so that it can attack and neutralize whichever is coming from different directions. This defense system consists of surveillance and tracking radars. Here you should know, the main aim of this is not only to fight, but it is to defend. That is, only when something enters, we hit it. If something is a 20-kilometer range, you should understand that if something is a 20-kilometer range, it has entered into Indian territory to attack us. So in defense, we are actually using this. And this is an all-weather missile system, and it can work on both static and mobile platforms. The meaning of this is simple. Some missiles are functional only when they are stationed at one particular place, because it requires huge strength and it does not have a proper vehicle to carry it. And the strength of the vehicle is also not enough to ensure that the missile system will go and hit the targets. So because of the backward pressure, some vehicles are not capable of using this whenever there is movement of that particular vehicle. But Akash system has both static and mobile platforms. Nowadays, we have mobile platforms for almost all the major important missiles. The reason for this, India feels, is we are talking about credible alternate defense. That is, credible threat we speak. That is, India has missiles which are not stationed at one part, that if Pakistan bombs on that, all our weapons are smashed and we don't have any weapons to hit back. That is not the case. When we talk about credible deterrence, that means we can destroy you if you drop even a single bomb. How? We will be having weapons not only at one place, we will be having weapons on land which will be roaming. And from the mobile platform, we are capable of hitting you back. We are capable of hitting you from sea. We are capable of hitting you from air. So that is what we talk about, credible deterrence. Here also we are talking about something like that. That is credible alternative through both static and mobile platforms. Then Akash is a result of 96% indigenization. That is, it is done, design, everything was done within India with the help of DRDO, right? So please remember these factual information for prelims. Then we are actually talking about strategic partnership model. Here we are saying that the central government has to come closer with the corporates, Indian corporates, to ensure that they participate in the defense production as well. And this is what we call strategic partnership model. You have different investment models, in that this is actually associated with Indian corporates to ensure their entry into the defense sector as well. The next most important topic that we need to focus is about the disaster management. Especially we have a lot to learn from a state like Odisha, which has its own early warning dissemination system, and it is the first state to do so. What exactly does that mean? It wants to empower the coastal communities and also the communities which are there in Odisha which are vulnerable to cyclones. One, it tried to develop the mangroves and all, but according to Sendai framework, it is very, very important for us to develop the community awareness and make community participation a grand success. So because of that, they have made an automatic system where with one button, the entire coastal areas and also the areas which will be affected by cyclones, there will be loudspeakers and sirens which go off, and it will tell to the people what exactly they should do and when they should move, how they should move. All these details will be provided to everyone. There can be some mock drills of this as well. And once this happens, whenever cyclones come, we have enough time. Always remember, cyclones, tsunamis and all give enough time, especially in the coastal region, before they come and hit. If we can predict with our technology that yes, cyclone is approaching nearby, it's not that it will directly come and hit the coast. It will first form on the ocean and then it comes on the land. So because of this, at least you get some time. By this time, if you have proper facilities, then it is easy for you to move from the coastal areas or the areas which will be affected by cyclones to deep interior where the impact will be less. So Odisha government has planned to ensure that there is less impact of cyclones on them. 10,000 people were killed during the 1999 Odisha floods. So it's very, very important for us to look at some of these measures adopted by Odisha government. And at the same time, I want to tell you that Odisha is not only first in this, but it also has micromanagement of the disaster. So Odisha can actually give us a lot of information how to ensure that disaster management is safely faced with. So let us see what are these. Odisha has adopted a mission called as Mission Zero Casualty. That is, there should be minimum or zero casualty with any disaster. After losing 10,000 people, I told you, it has continuously aimed to increase the manpower when it comes to disaster preparedness. It lays emphasis on micro level preparedness besides doing at the state level. Even at village level, the state government prepares a list of pregnant women and the differently abled people and hospitals, how exactly we need to help these people in times of disaster. This is what we call micromanagement. Guys, remember, if you can write these type of measures whenever it comes to disaster management, and if you can quote the example of Odisha, I'm telling you, you will score more marks. These are some of the minute details which is required for the state to ensure that no one is affected. It has been training the local communities on how to deal with disasters. Community development and a framework comes into picture. The Odisha Disaster Rapid Action Force has been in the forefront of rescue activities during disasters in other states as well. See this? They're not talking about Odisha only, they're talking about other states also. Usually it is your Army, Navy and Air Force. We have 3 projects. Project Prakampana, Project Sahayata, Project Jal Rahat. Wherever floods happen, earthquake happen and cyclonic activity is there, Navy, Army and Air Force is being used. But Odisha has tried to develop its own force to ensure that the impact on disaster is less in the beginning itself. The state has so far raised 10 units and 10 more units will be deployed soon. Guys, please try to see, these are very, very important. They're also planning to go for flood shelters, right? So please try to go through these topics carefully. Here they also say that they will also develop or construct 400 more buildings, right? The Red Cross also built 65 cyclone shelters. So all these measures are taken by Odisha government. So guys, in your disaster management answer, it's very important for you to write about this. Then the most important topic is Trump's exit from the Paris climate deal. As you're all aware, when he said he is moving out of this, many environmentalists were worried about. And India said whether Paris or no Paris, it's a responsibility to protect our environment. And Trump said he is withdrawing mainly because it is unfair to some of the companies in United States. He said he's talking for Pittsburgh. So he told that as it is unfair to his country and it gives unfair advantage to India and China, he is withdrawing from that. The other two countries which said no to this agreement was Syria and Nicaragua. It said that it is not binding. So who will agree to this seriously? But US being the second largest pollutant after China, it's very important that if US withdraws, it may take 4 years, but we should also ensure that in this 4 years, we try to convince United States that this is not a good precedence. Because if US moves out, there are several other countries which also thinks we have to move out of the Paris climate deal. And if this happens, the aim of the world to reduce the temperature, global warming by a certain degree will not be achieved. The intended nationally determined contributions which every country wanted to reduce so that the temperature of the earth will come down will not be met. Due to this, there won't be immediate impact. Yes, there will be increasing temperature in temperate regions where developed countries are present, but the most impact will be on equatorial and tropical countries, which will be prone to either floods or droughts. We are seeing extreme rainfall and less rainfall. All these are actually associated with this. So Paris climate deal may be asked. So let us see over a period of time what are the other developments associated with the Paris climate deal. Because yes, he has said he is withdrawing, but there may be many other events which may come up. In future, the countries may meet. So all those points may become important from mains. So don't assume that the question will be directly on the withdrawal, but in the next few months, there will be some changes and there will be some improvements on this issue. So we have to go through those things as well. But from prelims point of view, it's important for us to see some of the static information with respect to Paris climate deal. So the first major fact is that the aim is to keep the increase in global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius and to 1.5 degrees Celsius if possible. Then to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible. And they want to differentiate between developed and developing countries. That is, developed countries must lead the way and support developing countries by giving the required technology to reduce greenhouse gases. And every country, other countries with the ability to do so may also contribute their support on a voluntary basis to achieve this target. Can you see? Voluntary basis is what they are talking about. Countries must submit intended nationally determined contributions which are revised upwards every 5 years. The first report is due in 2023, right? So there will be technology transfer as well. From 2020, rich countries must contribute at least $100 billion per year to help the vulnerable countries and also the developing countries to ensure that they will use the required technology and also help the people who are vulnerable to climate change, either it is agriculture, water and all. The new mechanism, loss and damage, which they are actually talking about, where see, there are some countries which are already seeing some sort of impact of climate change and some countries have already become vulnerable. Their agriculture, lifestyle, tourism, everything is affected because of increasing temperature. So this is where they are talking about loss and damage. That is, few countries have already faced the damage. So some money has to be given to these countries as well. They felt by 2020, if the agreement is ratified by 55 countries which emits 55% of global greenhouse gases, then only it will be accepted, right? So some other facts, like the agreement was signed in 2015 by 195 countries. The Paris Agreement acknowledges the development imperatives of developing countries. The meaning of this is, developing countries said that earlier when you people industrialized, there was nothing such problems. Now when we want to develop, when we want to industrialize, when you give climate change as a reason, how can we grow? So there should be some space for us to develop as well. The agreement recognizes the developing countries' right to development. This is what I'm talking about. And their efforts to harmonize development with environment. The agreement's long-term goal is to keep global warming below 2 degrees Celsius or at least 1.5 degrees Celsius when we compare this with the pre-industrial times, right? Under the Paris Agreement, countries are required to set national targets for reducing or reining in their greenhouse gases. Those targets aren't legally binding. This is the problem of the two countries which did not join. But countries must report on their progress every 5 years voluntarily. Only developed countries are expected to slash their emissions in absolute terms. And for developing nations, they are encouraged to do so based on their capabilities. This is what Trump is against. Trump is saying that it gives undue advantage to China and India, whereas for United States it has barred, or it has said you have to reduce by this particular limit. So this is what they are worried about. And the developed countries, as I told you, they have to give $100 billion by 2020. UPSC in 2016 had made this 1,000 billion, right? So these type of informations are very, very important for us to prepare. From prelims point of view, these are enough. And at last, from ethics point of view, just try to answer this question after your prelims, right? So guys, at this point of time, focus more on the traditional areas as well, not only on the issues which are there in current affairs. Last year there were less questions from the traditional areas, so history, polity, economy and geography, try to revise them as much as possible. Thank you guys, thanks for listening and all the best for your exams.